we had the phones, like an actual webinar with the phones themselves and how to transfer, what are all the buttons on there. So I am going to go ahead and begin. So I use the LaPorte office as my training. They have, they're a smaller office with less than 10 agents. So there's some things that I can show you guys when it comes to the 10 agents and under for those offices that you guys can see what you can do with your auto attendant. So anyway, when you log in for the first time, if you haven't logged in yet, your username is your email address, and your password, the default password is C21 affiliated. It's the C and the A are capitalized. When you first log in, again, if you've never logged into it, or you haven't logged into it in a couple months, this next screen is going to be new to you. I just want you all to be aware that this screen is not something that we're going to be dealing with right now. Maybe in the future we might do it, but we're not going to deal with it right now. I do want to let you know, though, that you can look up people. So, for instance, Trina's on. For instance, if you wanted to look me up, you could actually find me. You can click down and you can find my extension. So I haven't really shown anyone that, but just in case anyone happens to call a lot of extension dialing and they go to the online office, they don't see an extension, you can sometimes come here and see extensions. I do want to remind people too that, you know, to put your extension in online office, put your team leaders extensions in there as well. That helps us from dialing to people's extensions. Once you get into this screen, again, you'll just want to bypass all this. You can hit the account manager, and this will take you into the screen that you guys are mostly used to. I don't really go over the home page, voicemail. I go right into the services page because that's where you guys are going to spend majority of your time as admins. I'm just going to go again straight down the sides for you guys to, for the things that you guys would do in PureEdge. The first thing, and just so you, in case you know, you might not have it exactly how this one is set up because you can move. So if I wanted to move extensions to the bottom, I could, or you can move it back. So just because it's in this order on my screen doesn't necessarily mean that it's in that order of your screen. But if you don't have access to all these things, you should put in a help desk ticket and let us know, because you should have access to all these things that you're seeing right now: extension, endpoint, mailbox, auto attendant, time frame, and ring group. So I'm going to start with standard. The standard extension is what you have for phones in your office. So Haley in the LaPorte office only has one phone, which is true. That is assigned to her. It's her admin phone, so it's the same phone that you all have on your desk. It's the phone that has the color display. Some of you have more than one phone in your office, so you might have a team leader. Your team leader actually has a phone assigned to them. In the LaPorte office, they only have her phone and cordless phones, so they don't actually have desk phones in that office. So usually you're going to see all your desk phones here. So if you have a group that might have a desk phone, you'll see them here. So standard extensions equals desk phones. So those actual phones that are sitting on people's desks. Those phones usually either are just there as generic phones or they're assigned to people. And it's pretty easy to figure out right here, you know, the extension, the name of the phone, and then where it routes to, and the outgoing caller ID. The outgoing caller ID is always going to be or it should always be your main number. If that is not your main number, let us know. If it's something that needs to be changed, we can do that on our end. The routing to is going to be routed to the phone. The phone is the one that, this is all programmed for you. You don't need to worry about this, but the phone is that, when I went into endpoint, I would see this phone routed to 7150. So when someone calls in, the call comes in to Haley's desk, and I will show you later. It can ring on more than one phone. Cloud extensions usually are going to be your agents. I highly 100% suggest that if you have agents that don't have cloud extensions, that you get them cloud extensions. Their extension should be routed to their outside number. So a couple reasons you might say, why do they need a cloud extension when someone calls in? I just forward it to their cell phone. A couple reasons. A, when you forward to a cell phone number, once you put in that number and it's gone. So there's no way to call that number back. So you fat finger that number, you could forward it to somebody else's cell phone. You could, there's a lot of errors that can happen that way. Number two, if they call the after hours and they do the company directory and they don't have an extension, that person will never be found for the company directory. So you want to make sure that your agents all have extensions. We're just going to go in here real quick, and I'm going to show you how I suggest that you set up the cloud extensions. It used to be that we did Find Me, but that is like an old kind of technology that we had. So now I suggest that everyone have their cloud extension just set up to the outside number. Outside number should be their cell phone number. You don't have to put a 1 in front of it. It's just their area code. You do need their area code and their phone number. Again, I would do all of this. This is the outside number. So it always goes with their cell phone number. You can do you can do other things with it, but 99.9% of the time you just want to do an outside number. So go ahead, if you do want to do it a different way and have questions, feel free to send a ticket in the help desk, and we are happy to help you. The voicemail is also something they probably won't use, but they will need to record their name for the company directory, because we have everything forwarding to their cell phone. You don't want to have them, they'll never get a voicemail per se on our system, but they will want to get their message recorded. So when someone calls in and they're doing dial by last name, and let's say we use Stacy and they put in M-A-T-T, they're going to get M-A-T-T-H-E-W-S. They're going to get all the names that start with M-A-T-T. So if you don't have your name in there, the system is going to try and say your name, and it's never good. So like when the system tries to say Kelly Kosmatka, it sounds terrible. So my name is recorded. So when someone calls in and puts in K-O-S-M, they will find me, and they'll find me in the directory, and it will say to reach Kelly Kosmatka, press 1. So that's what you should have for your agents. If you have an agent that leaves, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to change the name here to the agent. But what the first thing you're going to want to do is do it through a mailbox. So let's start with that. I'll go through how to remove an agent towards the end of this. I kind of like to go through what everything is, and then show you what you would do if you are adding or removing an agent. Right now, for Haley's group, she doesn't have any open extensions. So if she did want to get a new person, she would need to request a new extension. The endpoints isn't something you guys will work really with, except for, and I don't think I've ever actually talked about this a lot with you guys previously, because there's been some what am I trying to say? There's some ways to do this and some ways not to do it. Everybody doesn't have the same kind of phone, so I've kind of gone over this quickly or completely left it out. So a lot of you have on your phones, you can have speed dials. And basically, a speed dial is, if you look at your phones right now, you'll see your first two lines are your extension, or your first 3 lines are your extension, because you can have 3 lines come in simultaneously. So you have a call come in, someone else calls, that that will ring your second line. You can put them on hold, and then you could even have a third person come in and you can put them on hold and go back and forth to the 3 lines. Your fourth line in 99% of the offices are the park line. So your park 48, park 64, whatever your park line is, that's going to be your line 4. But you'll see you still have more buttons to fill up. You could add more people to your speed dial here. Again, this isn't something that I've talked much about, but you could do an extension BLS. I can put in, let's say, I don't know what they're in 5100. So if I want to put in, and unfortunately it gives you everyone in the office on this one, but if I want to put in, I don't know, someone in there, 5150 is theirs, hold on. If I want to put in 7150, and again, it can be a little time consuming because you got to go through everything. But if I wanted to put in LaPorte cordless phone, I could put that in. I can also do an extension dial. So I could put in, again, for her, actually, I'm lying. All you're going to do for, sorry, I'll come back. For your extensions on there, you can do extensions to your phones in your office. And then if you guys have the button box, the sidecar is what we call it, you can add extensions there. So then you could add your agents to your button box. So then when someone calls in for Mike or Joanna or whoever, you can hit their number on their button box. You can hit their name and it will automatically send it through. I know Haley doesn't have a button box on hers, so that's a little hard for me to explain it to you guys. But next month when I do the show the phone one, the actual when I do the phone showing you how to transfer and everything, I will go over the button box and how to program those too in there. Mailboxes, again, mailboxes are going to be, cancel, make sure I didn't save it. Okay. Mailboxes are going to be your voicemail boxes. You'll be able to, that's interesting that Haley has some extra people on here that I can take out of. But the mailboxes, really, she shouldn't have any of these. These are just hers down here. These are going to be, she has a mailbox, obviously. She has Joanne and Mike set up for email, Lisa and Rhonda as well. Again, you don't have to set it up with the email notifications, because if they have cloud extensions, 99.99999% of the time, it's going directly to their voicemail, and that goes to their voicemail, or I'm sorry, their cell phone, and goes to their cell phone voicemail. Next is auto attendant. So your auto attendant, you guys are going to see everybody's auto attendant in here. So make sure that when you're using the auto attendant, you're going into your auto attendant. So let's just do a report. You can always search here. I do want to give you guys a little kind of troubleshooting thing too. If you walk into one of these screens and you're only seeing one thing, and you're like, I know I have more than one number, or I know I have more than one whatever, always look over here to see if it's searching. It sticks. So the next time I come in here, it's going to stick with this screen. So she can log in and log back out, and all those other offices aren't going to show up. It'll just show this report one. So if you ever come into a screen and you're like, I know I should have a lot more choices than that, just make sure that this isn't filled out. If it is, click the blank button, the X button, and click search again, or sometimes we'll just do it, and they'll come all back. Let me go into report here. So all of you, unless you've changed your auto attendant, should have a default auto attendant. It will say your office. You've reached the report office. We're not here right now. If you want to leave your number in the main mailbox, You can hit 0 and to leave a number or to leave a voicemail. To hit star for company directory will also be on that. So I know a lot of you, and I'm going to use LaPorte as an example. They have less than 10 agents. So if you have less than 10 agents, you can come in here and change this. So if you say, hey, you know, you've reached the LaPorte office, we're not open right now. If you'd like to leave your name and number, we'll be happy to get back to you. If you want to reach, and then you can go in here and you can put in, if you want to reach Mike, you select button 1, you can put in his number. If you want to reach Joanna, you select button, click button, or whatever it is. Sorry, not click, dial 2, and you can hit her. Dial 3 for Roxanne, dial 4 for Christy, dial 5 for Laura, and you can go in here and fill these in. Now, I will explain this to you, and this is only for people. There's 2 ways to do this, and you need to talk to your team lead before you go in here and do this, because your team lead should be the one that makes the decision. Again, who gets button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They need to make that decision of who gets that. You cannot change button 0, and do not change button the rest of the buttons that are already pre-coded. So you get 1 through 9, you can change. The other ones, if you change them, you're going to create some bad things that are going to happen. So don't touch them. So it's 1 through 9. So if you have an office of 10 agents or less, or really 1 through 9 agents, you can use this. You can set it up for everybody to have their own button. When they call in, again, you'd have to change your auto attendant to say, hi, you've reached the LaPorte office. We're not here right now. If you'd like to leave your name and number for our general mailbox, press 0. If you'd like to get a hold of Mike, press 1, etc. I would, if you're going to do this and you're going to change all this, make sure to write it down. Even for like my voicemail, for my regular voicemail, I write down my little script and then I record it. When you record it, you're going to want to hit this record button up here. It's going to ring your desk phone. You'll pick up your desk phone and you'll go ahead and record it. For those of you that and I'll explain this. Let me actually, before I go any further. So when you hit the star button for the company directory, it is everyone in every office. So it's not just your office. So you hit someone calls, let's say they call the Cherville office. Someone calls the Cherville office, they hit star, they can find anyone in the company. So let's say they want to find Haley in LaPorte. They could dial by number and find Haley by dialing by name. Now, this does cause problems, and the reason why you 100% want your agents to record their name is because when they record their name, again, you're going to get the whole entire company. You can't tell me that there might not be 2 Todd Smiths or, you know, Lisa Smith or whoever. So you want to make sure that they have their name recorded so people can pretty much know who you are from it. Or if they know that they're in an office, or if they have a name that they know somebody else has the same name in the company, they can always say, you know, Kelly Kosmatka out of the LaPorte office. And the other person can record Kelly Kosmatka out of the Cherville office. So you can, you know, add a little bit more than just your name if you want to. It's whatever you record is what's going to be said when the company directory tries to find you. So with that being said, and that you have all the agents in all of Century 21 affiliated in this that have the PureEdge system. Remember, not every office has PureEdge, but most of them do. With that being said, some people have wanted to actually have their team leads. Some offices have decided that they want their team leads to be number 1. So let's say you can say, hi, you've reached the LaPorte office to leave a message with our general mailbox, press 0. To get a hold of our managing broker team leader, press 1. And the managing broker team leader will be the only person that's programmed in. Because a lot of times it is leads, and then you would say, and press star to reach our company directory. So discuss with your team leads. If that's something that you want to change, feel free to. If not, you know, you can leave it generic and leave it the way it is. It's totally fine. Most offices do. But if it is something that you guys want to change around, feel free to go ahead and change it. And if you have any questions or anything, again, because this is your auto attendant, this is the messages that people are going to get when it's off hours, or if for some reason you accidentally put your phone to do not disturb. So you want to make sure that this is the message that they're going to get. So you want to make sure that you do it the right way. So again, if you have any questions, you're concerned, you're nervous, whatever, feel free to let us know at the help desk, and we're always happy to help you guys. So I'm going to cancel out of that. And I know that's kind of a lot of information in a little amount of time for the auto attendant. So you guys also have your guides, your admin guides. So make sure to use those admin guides. And again, the help desk is always here to help you guys with any of those issues. The next thing I'm going to talk about is time frames. So again, this is how your time frames are going to be, your time frames are affected with your auto attendant. So when you have your office hours, outside those office hours, that auto attendant is going to go on. So as you can see, I hit the time frame. It just shows me the LaPorte office. That's because I searched for LaPorte probably last time I was on here. If I click out, I can see everybody's time frame. Now, there's a reason we want everyone to see everyone's time frame. There's times that, you know, you're sick or whatever, and hey, I'm sick. I'm going to need the Michigan City office to pick up the phones for LaPorte, so you can transfer it over to LaPorte, or, you know, vice versa. So usually I think all of you guys kind of have a buddy at another office that you use that, you know, if you need help or whatever, they're kind of your backup. So this is why we give everybody access to all the time frames. So you guys can kind of do this on your own if you need to change your time frame. So if I go into the LaPorte, and again, you might only see 20 here, so you can go to 100, and we have 81 records, but I'm just going to go ahead and put in LaPorte for me. I'll search her, I find that office. So right now, during office hours, the group, which I'll show you guys the ring group, is going to the LaPorte, the LaPorte group. This is where you could change this. So let's say, hey, I'm just not feeling well. We don't have anyone on floor. I need someone to cover the main floors. Call my buddy over at Michigan City. Hey, can you guys cover for me? Great. Change this. Now all my calls will forward to the Michigan City office. After hours, that's that auto attendant. That's going to be your LaPorte auto attendant, or whatever your office is. That's going to be your after hours. So now we're going to talk about time frames. So time frames, these are all done in Eastern. This should be decided by your team lead. So the team lead in LaPorte decided that they wanted their office hours from 9 to 10. There's always someone there from 9 to 10. Phones don't ring. They don't go to auto attendant. They don't go directly to voicemail. They ring, and unless no one picks it up, then they'll go to voicemail. But from 9 to 10, they don't go directly to their auto attendant. From the hours outside of that, goes their auto attendant. These times are done in Eastern. So anyone that's not in the Eastern time zone, you're going to have to write down what we want, 9 to 10. Okay, that's 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. So just be aware that this is done in Eastern time zone. Also be aware you can so if you're open on Saturdays and Sundays, you can click this to make yourself open on Sunday. Or if you're not open on Sunday, you can click it off. The default is Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So if you guys are open different hours than that, you'll want to go in here and adjust the hours. And again, it's Eastern time zone. So our Michigan offices, our Florida offices, and half of Indiana, they're fine. Do your normal time on there. The rest of us that are in Central time zone, you got to make sure that you're doing this as Eastern time zone. It does give you the little blue thing here to say what it is. When you do want to change this, like to Michigan City, make sure you click the save button. If you just go out of this, it doesn't save. I am going to cancel it because I don't want it to save at all. In the morning, when you come back, you're feeling better, you're great, you're back at work, you can go back in your time frame and change it back. Or your buddy might do it the night before, so they don't have to come to it in the morning. So your ring groups are, so for instance, so let's bring up LaPorte. LaPorte has 3 phones that ring simultaneously when the main number rings. So it's going to be her admin phone and the 2 cordless phones that they have. So anytime someone calls in the main number, they're going to get, all 3 of these phones will ring. If you need to add someone to it, you can add people. If you want to take out, you can take out. One thing that you can do too is you can add a cell phone number to this, because sometimes you guys have or you have like, you've got to go volunteer, or the office is doing a training off-site because no one's going to be in the office, but the team lead still wants the number to be, you know, somebody to answer it because it's during normal business hours. You could add a cell phone number to this. You click add, and then they're in there too. So when the main number rings, their cell phone rings. There are some offices that the team leads that when the main number rings, their cell phone always rings too. So it just depends, again, what your team lead wants and how you guys want to do it. If you guys, you know, again, if you have a picnic or whatever, I mean, I know every office does a little something different, you know, for, you know, we're going to have an early happy hour, but we still need to have those phones ring, and we don't want our admin to stay there. We want to close the office, but we don't want to close the office. You could add your cell phone or the team lead cell phone in there, and then it would ring. You can also, on that time frame, just to go back to that too real quick, is if you guys have, you know, you are going to have an off-site happy hour or whatever, you're going to leave, you know, at 3 o'clock, because the whole office is doing something at 3 o'clock. You can also change that time frame for that day to go earlier, and so then the phones would go directly to the auto attendant, and then you could get you'll see the voicemail as an email. So there are just a couple of different things that you guys can do with that. You'll notice though in here that we do have quite a few ring groups in here. So some offices do have teams that will have, you know, more than one phone. So when they call the team, everybody's phone will ring. So there are some different kind of ring groups that you might see in here that you wouldn't see before. Some offices have that that they are open later, so they'll have their phones roll over to another office. So we have these kind of different kind of time ring. Oops, I'm in the time frames. We'll have these different kind of ring groups that you guys can all see in there. If you ever do need to set up a ring group, or you guys need something different done, feel free to give us a call, and we will be happy to set it up or help you set up for it. So as you guys see, like in the Douglas office, they have a Douglas, the Harbor Shore group. It rings 2 phones when someone calls in for their line. So just to go back over, so again, kind of showed you guys, you know, when you have a new agent, if you don't have a cloud extension and you have a new agent, you're going to want to reach out to support at PureEdge VoIP.com. Again, it's support at PureEdge VoIP.com. Some of you reach out to them for questions about the phones. You shouldn't reach out to them. You should always reach out to the help desk first. So just remember, if you have a question about the phone, reach out to the help desk. If you just need to add an extension, that's when you would reach out to them for that. If you have an agent that is leaving, what you're first going to want to do is go into this mailbox section, And so if I go to Stacy, what you're first going to want to do is go into Stacy. You're going to want to change the name to agent. And then because she doesn't have a email sending, you could wipe it out. So if she did, you would click over to no. Nobody has this SMS set up, so it would really be over here. If you would like to record over their name, you could do that. You could change it to agent, but when you reassign this extension to someone, make sure the first thing they do is record their name, because it's going to come back up as Stacy Matthews. So again, when you have an agent leave, you want to change the name for the directory to agent. You want to go into the cloud setting. Yes, leave. You want to go into cloud setting then next and change their name to agent and wipe out the outside number. So you want it to go, and what you want it to do is, so when the next thing you'll want to do, so you'll change this to agent, and then the next thing you'll do is, because you don't obviously want it to ring to an outside number, you'll want it to read to your extension. So we just always have them ring to the admin's extension. So this is a good way to help you guys when you guys are doing adding agents or removing agents. Just make sure that you're always changing it to that. So that is how you do that. The next thing is, that is kind of all that you guys will do on here. If you do have old directions, you're going to see something about setting up people usernames in here. We don't do that anymore, just because no agent was going in there, first of all, and second of all, because they don't have voicemail, so you wouldn't want to set this up for them. So if you see that you have old documentation, and you'll want to just ignore that. Anything else I think is we probably have covered. I don't think there's much else to cover. Again, if you guys have any questions or need anything, feel free to call the help desk. We're always happy to help. If you guys need PureEdge, the PureEdge documents that's in the Kathy's files, she always has all those up there. And like I said, next month, what I'm going to do is kind of change it up a little, because we've had a couple offices join and get the new PureEdge phone systems. So that's why we had like basically 3 months of the same thing. But next month we will go over the actual phones. I'll do like a webcam, and so you guys can see the phone, do some transferring, and that kind of stuff. Again, if you guys have any questions directly for me, feel free to email me or email the help desk, and I will get to them. Thank you all for participating, and have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.